everybody, and welcome to the Adam Smith Business School Scholarship webinar. This is the first webinar, actually, of our 2026 series, so we're absolutely delighted to have you all join us today. Good morning, good afternoon, potentially good evening from wherever you are joining us from in the world today, and thank you for your time. So we expect this session to last approximately about 45 minutes to an hour, and we are streaming live to YouTube as well, so please do use the comment section to ask us any questions that you may have. My name is Lee McLaughlin. I'm based here in the Adam Smith Business School in the recruitment team, and I'm joined by my colleague Elise. Elise, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name's Elise Camilleri Brennan and I work with Lee in the same recruitment team as a student recruitment and marketing coordinator.
Excellent, thank you, Elise. So some of you may have actually chatted already with Elise and I when you're thinking of preparing for your journey and asking us any questions. So you can see at the bottom of the banner there, we've got a little ticket sliding along with our email address. So we do encourage you as well to reach out with any questions that you might want to ask us personally. But we would love for you to engage in the comment section, maybe drop a little message in there, just introduce yourself and say where you are joining us from today. So without further hesitation, we'll head on and go through our slides. A little bit of an overview. Just let me share these. Perfect. Okay, so we're all set. We'll be joined today further on in the session with Maria Turowska, who is our University of Glasgow Scholarship Coordinator. And then you also are going to have the opportunity to hear from one of our 2025-26 scholarship awardees. So have a think as well for any questions that you may like to ask Richmond. And we're delighted to have both Richmond and Maria join us today to help answer your queries. So I'll start with a bit of an overview on our scholarship package. I'm sure a lot of you are really interested in this. And of course, scholarships can be a really big part in your journey towards pursuing higher education and further study. So really, when you're thinking about our Adam Smith Business School scholarships, we have actually repackaged some of them for the coming academic year, which will be the year that you're joining us in. We really want to create that emotional connection with our applicants, and we really see these scholarships as an opportunity to build relationships with you before you even actually join us. So your journey as a student starts right now. You're all offer holders, which is fantastic. And we want to use this storytelling to really drive engagement in the scholarship community and the wider student community when you are here on campus. So really have a think about your own personal stories, some reflection on, what you think your personal potential is, and stories of ambition and resilience, and how a scholarship can really help you achieve your future goals when you're here studying on the programme. So really, we want our scholarships to be a celebration of our talent, our ambition, and our excellence. We are so incredibly proud of our full student community, and our scholarship awardees are real ambassadors for the school as well. So I'm going to hand over. We have Maria on the call. I'll just invite you to the stage, Maria.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Maria. Okay, I will hand over to you and go through on your slides. Just give me a wee shout when you would like the next slide to go up.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Maria, and I work as a scholarship coordinator in the University of Glasgow. Firstly, I'll kind of introduce the type of scholarships that we have available here, and then we'll move on to specific scholarships. So we award scholarships either as tuition fee waivers, which is probably the most popular way that we award scholarships to our students. It's a discount to your fees, and it's anything kind of varying from £5,000 up until the full fee waiver discounts. And we also have stipend payments, and stipends are paid directly to students, to their student bank account, basically, as soon as you're enrolled into your program. Usually the first payment comes out in around October time, and then it's divided into 10 separate payments. So I'll be going over different types of scholarships today. mainly focused on the Adam Smith Business School scholarships, and then we'll move on to some of the university-wide scholarships as well that are larger and that might be of interest to you as well. We do encourage you to apply for as many scholarships as possible, so you don't need to identify with just one of them and apply for just one of them. Next slide, please. So this is how our scholarships search page looks like. So it's very simple. It just asks about whether you're a current student or a new student, where you're coming from, as well as your program of study and your level of study. And based on the information that you input here, our database will basically just throw out all the results that might be eligible, all the scholarships that may be eligible for you based on the information that you entered. So if you're thinking of applying for more than one program, I would encourage you to do this scholarship search for each of the programs, just because sometimes there might be some scholarships that are available for one program but aren't for another. So I would always encourage you to do that search for each of your programs and apply for your scholarship applications separately. So the eligibility criteria usually will be the program or programs, the country that you're coming from or countries, as well as your fee status. So whether you're an international student or home student, there will be different types of discounts available to you. Majority of our international scholarships are tuition fee discounts because of the international fees being higher, whereas majority of our home scholarships or home and our UK scholarships will be stipend-based payments to support kind of day-to-day cost of living and so on. If we could move to the next page, thank you. So when you see the full list of, there might be quite a few scholarships that you might be eligible for after you do your search, and you will see the application link on each of those scholarships. There's a separate link for each of the scholarships that you're going to apply for. If you click into apply now, it will take you to the scholarship portal registration webpage. So it only asks some of your basic details, your name, your email address, where you're living right now, where you're coming from, and again, your program details. And it will also ask your student ID and your application number. And this is something that all of you should already have, as you're already offer holders. But if you come across any problems, you can let us know. And it also asks you your mode of study, so whether it's full-time or part-time, and your fee status as well. So based on this information that you enter here, again, the portal will adjust the scholarships that it's showing for you. So for example, at times we get queries, people saying, I want to apply for this specific scholarship, but I can't see it on my portal. And basically it's only because maybe they marked that they are a home student, whereas in fact they are an international student. So some of the scholarships just would not show on the portal as eligible for them. So it's a fairly straightforward process to register, and once you've entered all this information, you will receive an email with a link, and that link takes you directly to your scholarship portal. Can we go to the next slide, please? And this is what the scholarship portal looks like once you've clicked on the link in your email. So it comes up with all of the scholarships that you might be eligible for, and we are encourage you to apply for all of them. There will be different questions on each of the applications. However, most of them are quite uniform, quite similar. We're not asking for any document upload at this stage, and we're not asking for any lengthy personal statements or anything like that. It's just a few simple questions and a couple of general questions regarding why you're wanting to study at the university, why do you think the stipend and the scholarship would support you, or how it would support you through your studies, and so on. So we'll move on to the kind of application later on. But as you can see, this is a very simple view, a simple way to look at it. If you're applying for more than one program, there is an option on the scholarship portal as well to add the second program. So again, you might be able to see different scholarships available for each of those programs, and we ask that you apply for each of the scholarships per program separately. It's not a problem if you wish to use the same personal statements if it is still suitable. So you don't need to create a brand new statement for each of those applications as long as it is still aligns with the questions and with the scholarship itself. Just having a quick think if we can move on. Yeah, I think we can move on to the next slide. So the scholarship application, as I mentioned earlier, it is a very simple application. So there are 3 questions that you will see pretty much on every one of those applications related to your affordability. So the first question is, can you afford the UKVI living cost requirements for student visa applicants? This is a UK government requirement, so it's not something that we can kind of help with or waive or anything like that. More details can be found on the UK government website if you need to know how much that is, whether you can afford it. So that's the first question. The second question is, will you be able to meet the cost of outstanding tuition fees with a partial scholarship? So if you get a £10,000 scholarship, are you able to afford to pay the rest of your fees? And the reason why we ask these is to make sure that if you're coming here to study, you can afford to pay your fees and you can live comfortably. We don't want our students to struggle. We don't want our students to not think forward. We need you to actually think about whether you can afford living in the UK, whether you can afford living in Glasgow. Some students are able to work part-time whilst they're studying, and some students say that it's just not possible for them. It will depend on the type of course you're doing. And so on. So I would encourage you to have a think about this as well. Have you attended U of G Open Days, webinars, or info sessions? That's another question. And this is just our way of checking your engagement. So it's great to see you all here because you can say yes to that question. And then lastly, you have a couple of personal statements. And as I said, they're mainly similar, asking about your ambitions to study at the university, how the scholarship will support you. And I think the longest we ask is 400 words. So it's really not something that needs to be very lengthy. We ask that you kind of avoid just simply listing your achievements, because we do have, we can see your grades and things like that via your admission documents. So you don't need to include all of those separately. Just talk more about yourself and make it personal. There's nothing wrong with using AI if you need a check for spelling and so on, but reading those statements, I can tell who's using AI and who's not using AI. And it's, again, there's nothing wrong with it, but if the statement feels more impersonal, more generic, or just full of clever words that nobody really can relate to, that's not very helpful, and it kind of shows that you maybe haven't fully expressed who you are as a person in those statements. So we really encourage you to use your personal experiences and your personal motivations to write these statements. Some tips that I noted on the slide, I have already said, so I won't repeat, but in your case, you have already applied, you're already an offer holder, so it's fantastic. If you apply for the Adam Smith Business School scholarships now, then you will be considered in the first assessment round, which is next month. We'll go on to the dates in a minute. So you will receive the decision fairly shortly in regards to whether you have been successful in receiving the scholarship or not. We encourage you to engage with different university events. It's a great way to get to know the culture of the university, the culture of the school, and just make sure that this is where you belong. Find out more about the program you want to study, but also make friends. And so on. We encourage you to apply for as many scholarships as possible, even though it is not possible to combine the awards. So if you get a couple of different lower value scholarships, you would not be able to kind of add them on together. We do encourage you to apply for as many as possible, just so that you have the best chance in securing funding. If you do happen to receive more than one scholarship offer, we would simply just delete the lower value scholarship at that point. If you have any questions or regarding your admission, your conditions on your offer, your scholarship or your scholarship eligibility, we do encourage you to reach out to the admission team or the scholarship team. Always ask, even if you receive an email and you have been rejected for the scholarship, ask for feedback. There's nothing wrong with that. And whenever we can, we will let you know why you have not been selected. We're not able to maybe give a very personalized, detailed feedback on your application, but we can give you a general feedback as to why you have not been successful. And again, honest personal statements, link it to your scholarship or school values, the future plans that you might have, your ambitions and motivations for applying. And that would be probably what I can say the strongest part of your application. So I really encourage you to follow these simple tips. I think we can move on to the next slide. This is the list of the current Adam Smith Business School scholarships for 2026-2027 entry. All of these scholarships are for September 2026 offer holders. The first one is our Adam Smith Business School Entrepreneurial Leaders Award, which is a £15,000 tuition fee waiver. Then we have a Global Impact Scholarship, and that's a full tuition fee waiver and a £15,000 stipend. This is a very popular scholarship. We have 4 of those awards. Then we have a Scottish Excellence Award for our home Scottish students, and that's a £10,000 stipend payment. We have ASBS India Achievers Award, and that's a £15,000 tuition fee waiver. Similarly, we have a Chinese Pathway to Purpose Award, and that's a £15,000 fee waiver as well. We have the Behavioral Science Scholarships, which is a full tuition fee waiver, and this is only for applicants for the Behavioral Science program. And then we have the ASBS Economics Scholarship, which is a £15,000 fee waiver as well, and that's for all the program offer holders for our Economics Master's program. And finally, we have the MBA Scholarship. We award many awards and at many different values, and we take into account your program application and interview as well as your scholarship application and try to determine the value of your scholarship. So it varies from 30 to 50%. However, there are some full fee waivers available here as well. So that's for our MBA program offer holders as well. Now, our Global Impact Scholarship and the Entrepreneurial Leaders Awards, the 2 top listed on the slide, have a slightly different process for application this year. If we can move to the next slide, and I'll just discuss the dates. So the first deadline, so as I mentioned before, since you are an offer holder now, if you complete your application for scholarships before the 23rd of February, you will receive your decision by the 6th of March. So you will be assessed in the first deadline, if in the first round. If for whatever reason you cannot submit your applications before then, you can apply after, and you will be assessed by the 18th of May, with the decisions coming out by the 29th of May. So we try and work as quickly as we can. Our Entrepreneurial Leader Award and Global Impact Scholarship this year will have a second stage assessment. So apart from the online application, you will be invited to submit a short video. It's just a 2-minute video talking about the Adam Smith Business School. And again, it's similar, just your ambitions to apply and so on. The specific question will be listed in the invitation email. If you happen to be successful for both of these awards and you're invited for the second stage for both of these awards, we'll just ask you to submit one of those emails, one of the videos. We will go through the kind of full instructions on how to do it and what the video requires, how to upload it. It will all be in the email. So just to let you know to be on the lookout for those emails, because the time to submit the video will probably be about a few days. So you maybe have 5 days to submit the video. So it's not an awfully long time, because we do want to process the decisions as quickly as possible. So after the decision After the round closes the 23rd of February, just keep an eye on your emails. Make sure you're checking your inbox. And again, if you have any questions or any concerns, just reach out to the scholarships team directly. Our email address, I'm not sure if it's included, is just scholarships@glasgow.ac.uk. So if you have any questions, I would ask you to email us prior to the deadlines. And just lastly, the last slide I think I have is just about the kind of general scholarships we have across the university. Those are scholarships that are available for all of the programs. So if you're an ASBS offer holder, you will also be eligible for these. And there are more on the website as well. So again, I always encourage you to have a look at the web pages to make sure you're not missing on any funding that you might be eligible for. The very first is our automatic World Changers scholarship. It's a £5,000 tuition fee waiver for selected countries and all of the European Union countries. And this is an automated award, which means that if you have an offer, usually within a couple of days, if you're eligible, you will receive an automated email just to let you know you have been successful in securing this scholarship. Because it is automatic, you don't need to reply and you don't need to accept it or anything like that. And also, it doesn't stop you from applying for higher value competitive scholarships. So feel free, as I said before, apply for as many as you wish. We also have our African and Caribbean Excellence Scholarships, which are full fee waivers. Global Leadership, which is a £10,000 fee waiver. And this scholarship, we have 281 of those this year to award. It covers all of the countries and all of the programs across the postgraduate master's study. So it is a very popular large scheme as well. And then we have our India Excellence Scholarship, which is a 12,500 fee waiver. And shortly, we will be launching our 575 celebration scholarships in celebrating 575 years of the University of Glasgow. And this will be a £15,000 fee waiver. I don't believe it's open just yet on the web pages, but if you keep an eye on the web pages, then it should be available within the next few weeks. We also have some humanitarian scholarships available for applicants that have been displaced due to war or conflict, and for students coming straight from Palestine. So please have a look at those as well if that's something that's applicable to you. And we also offer additional admission support for students affected by war and displacement. So again, you can ask admissions for additional support if need be at any point. I am sure I am forgetting something. So look. Okay, I think actually it might be okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, Maria, I think you've covered loads, which has been really helpful. I was thinking as well, and I'm like, nope, you've definitely covered
I think
everything
so.
there.
Yeah, thank you so much for your attention.
Just a couple of questions that have come to mind. Maria, of course, you look through so many applications, and it's a massive part of your job. So from your perspective, what really makes applications stand out? What comes to mind when I ask you to think of some applications you've reviewed in the past that really stood out to you? I think that might be helpful for the offer holders on the call today.
I think when students are able to specify how they have maybe already shown some of the values that we're looking for, the ASBS values, and when you're able to relate whether that's scholarship values or the university values to kind of your story and your program of study and your successes so far. Obviously, we're not expecting you at this point to be entrepreneurs and have your own businesses and so on. But there are students that take extra and put extra work in to have some experiences and or have shown certain qualities already, whether that's at university or school earlier or in internships or work, or sometimes it's even personal situations that can make you kind of build up certain certain values and your character. So we appreciate when you are able to link those personal stories and values with what we're looking for in applicants in ASBS and across for the university as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And yeah, just to sort of echo your thoughts around that as well, specifically around the Entrepreneurial Leaders Award, to everybody in the call today, I just want to reinforce that, as Maria said, we're not looking for you to go away in between now and you joining us, start up your own business, for the scholarship. It's really about your values, entrepreneurial values, as how you approach problems and critical thinking skills. So please don't be worried or put off by that. And of course, if you do need any clarity around scholarships and what you think we're looking for, I've popped Maria's scholarship email address in the chat there, and you can also see my team's at the bottom too. Another question, Maria, that I think comes up quite often in these type of settings is, if we have a candidate that's maybe not successful in round one, are they eligible to reapply in round two?
So it depends. So there is, we will have our offers. We'll make our offers for the scholarships in round one, and we will also have some reserves. The students that were not eligible, and by that I mean perhaps they don't meet the criteria, or their application just wasn't as strong as the kind of top candidates, would be rejected, and we would not be able to reconsider our decision on this. However, we will also keep some reserve candidates. Reserve candidates will be almost on hold if anybody from the initial offer holders doesn't accept the offer, or if they withdraw from the process at any point, then the offer will go on to the reserve candidates. We hold those reserve candidates sometimes until the second round. So sorry, I'm getting distracted. The second round. So if unfortunately, if you are a reserve candidate and you haven't received any confirmation within that time, you will need to wait for the decision after the second deadline. So you will be considered again alongside the new applicants coming in for the second deadline. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, definitely does. Thank you. It's just one worth mentioning because I know that can come up quite frequently. So we actually do have a question in the chat for you. So let me just come in here and I will show this so that everyone can see it on the call today. So yeah, almost quite similar to what I asked you in terms of what makes applications stand out, but those real core values and traits that you tend to see in successful scholarship applicants. And I think from a school perspective, as I kind of touched on earlier, we're looking for those values of our school. So for our offer holders on the call today, the Adam Smith Business School values are, we call our 3 E's. So that is entrepreneurial, which ties into our Entrepreneurial Leader Scholarship. We also have enlightened and engaged. So those 3 E's really come together, and this is the real essence of our school community here. All of our staff and students and everybody all across the school really adhere to those, and there's a strong sense of community and value there. So that's really what I'm looking for, that enlightened, that new approach to something exciting, and also just passion, real drive to want to come and join us and to want to study here in the business school. I think that always comes through really well. So that's how I would respond to that question. Maria, if you would like to jump in on that as well, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are able to link those values with, as I said before, with your personal experiences, and tell us about how you've expressed those values before, or how you come across building this character of yours, and so on, that's definitely what makes the strongest applicants. And again, just try not to list your achievements. It's great, but actually tell us more about why that's important and what that meant for you.
Perfect. We also have a question that's just come up here, so I will just show this one. One of our attendees has asked, if a scholarship is, we have 9 available of 15k tuition fee discounts, could we give one student 2 15k discounts if someone doesn't take theirs up? And typically we do find that there's such high demand for scholarships that that is never really the case, as Maria touched on there. Um, there's always a waiting list. I can see Maria back in. I'll add you up too. There we go. Hi, Maria. Um, just checking that you're coming through there on the. Can you
Can you
hear
hear
us
me
okay?
okay?
I
Yeah,
don't
I
think we
can
can
hear
hear
you. Yeah,
you.
oh, sorry.
Oh, you can. Oh, sorry. Elisa's saying she can hear you. Okay, perfect. We'll go with
Okay.
it. It must be on my end. If you want to go ahead and maybe just respond to that question, that would be really great.
Yeah, so with our scholarships, we want to award as many students as we can. We want to support as many students as we can. So unfortunately, there's absolute hundreds and hundreds of applications. So we would not offer anybody double the discount. That's why it's one of the reasons why we don't allow for scholarships to be stacked up and build up, because we want to award as many students as possible and support as many as we can. So unfortunately, that wouldn't be possible.
And another comment that has come through that I just thought I'd quite like to share with you, Maria. One of the attendees has said that you responded really quickly when they emailed about the behavioural science scholarship, and just to highlight there that U of G is really great for that student support piece, and I feel quite strongly about that as well. We really do make it our priority to answer any queries and to connect with you all. So yes, please do drop us an email at the end of the session, even just for a quick chat if you would like to speak further with myself and Elise outside of this context, just to have a chat about your goals and your journey towards joining us. So thank you so much, Maria. We really, really appreciate your time as always. And I'm going to hand over to Elise for the next session of the webinar. Thank you, Maria.
No problem. Thanks.
Here we go. Hello, Elise.
Hello, Lee.
Okay, so this is the opportunity in the webinar for you to hear directly from our awardees. So I have a quote just there from Saoirse Ray, who was our Global Challenges awardee in 24 and 25. And we asked Saoirse before she graduated and left the university what advice she would give to anybody that was joining or thinking of applying for a scholarship. And she said, really think of the scholarship as an investment in you and what impact you would hope to create and how you plan to give back to the Adam Smith Business School community. So throughout your time joining us, what is something that you really want to gain from being here, and also something that you would like to take forward with you in both your short and long term post study goals. And Saoirse left a really, really lovely words that it just really validated her hard work, and it stands as a reminder for her to just keep pushing forward as she grows and develops in her career. So, with that being said, we would love to invite Richmond over to the stage. Richmond is currently one of our international business students. So, there we go, studying with us right now here in Glasgow. So any questions you might have for Richard, please do leave in the chat, and I will invite Richard on to discuss further with Elise.
Hi, Richmond. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi.
So I've got a couple of questions for you that I think that, personally myself, I would love to know your answers, but I think our viewers today would also be really interested to hear what you have to say. So
All right.
first of all, I would really love if you could please tell us about your experience studying in Glasgow so far. What do you like most about the city?
All right. So, but my name is Richmond Itiaman, and I'm from Ghana, studying MSc International Business. Well, my experience in Glasgow so far, right from the airport when I was coming, I met lovely people. We were in a queue for taxi, and once they saw that we were students, right away they just give us the opportunity to go ahead and even ahead of them. So there are lovely people here, and I think first impression was a very good city to study in, and I've enjoyed it so far. In terms of the teaching style, I think it's not like how I'm used to. I've come to learn in an experiential way where we work on projects to work with clients on a live project, and I think that is something that will go a long way to help me upgrade myself. Another aspect is the critical approach to learning. We pride ourselves as world changers, so I think it's fit that we take a critical approach to everything that we are learning. It's not only about theory, but the experience is such that it wants to make you critical about yourself, and then whatever you learn here, you'll be able to, apply it when you graduate. And I think it's something that I really appreciate. There's always support from faculty, like always willing to go extra to engage you on your career, on your studies, and I think that is also lovely. There's also the counseling and well-being, where you can book one-on-one appointments to discuss your personal, well-being, and then even your studies, exams, and everything is so marvelous. Even before coming here, the support I received from the school in terms of inquiries. I did the application myself, so right from application to visa application, always when I tried to inquire, the response was very prompt and it was very, very helpful. So it's been a very wonderful experience so far, and I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much. That's so great to hear. Like, firstly, like obviously how nice people were to you at the airport, but also the experience that you've had so far with studying and all of that support that you're receiving. So I'm really glad that that's the experience that you're having, Richmond.
Okay.
So what advice do you think you would give to offer holders that are currently thinking about coming to the University of Glasgow and Adam Smith Business School in particular as well?
Well, so just like the previous slides have talked about, you need to apply very early, and you also need to be very um, candid about your application. You need to tell your story as it relates to the values that are being looked out for in the various scholarships. And I think University of Glasgow and then the Adam Smith Business School is the right place to be when it comes to making impact in the world. I mean,
Mhm.
I think it was a great thing that I got the opportunity to study where the father of economics actually studied and taught, the Adam Smith Business School.
Mhm.
So I would say it's a top 100 university, and also in terms of UK, it is about top 15. So I think it's a great place to be. And if you have an offer, I think it's a great privilege that I would recommend that anyone who has the offer should not think twice, but grab the opportunity. It's going to be a lovely journey when you come, and there's always support. There's always good, studies that is available for everyone, and it's going to make you change the world.
Thank you for that. What impact would you say that your scholarship has had on your journey so far?
Well, it's had a good impact. I'm thinking about my background and the fact that I'm a first generation university student, and the usually the goal is to go further my education, and I did not think it could be in such a top university. So this experience has been so wonderful. Meeting new people every now and then in terms of international students. There's also the opportunity to connect with alumni. I have connections on LinkedIn where I joined one of the alumni connection events, and I got to meet some of them, and they are also always available to help with anything that I ask them. So it's been a very wonderful journey, and it's made a very good impact on me. I now take a very different approach to dealing with things in terms of confidence building and everything. um, there are workshops and events that help you build your capacity, and I think it's been very lovely, and I've I can confidently say that it's made a very great impact on me personally in terms of my
Mhm.
academics and then my personal life as well.
Do you remember when you found out that you received the scholarship? Like, how did that make you feel, and what was that, what was that experience like finding out?
Well, it was at the moment I was kind of dumbfounded. I could not believe that I had such. I had the Global Challenges Award, which is now a Global Impact. It's a
Mhm.
full tuition waiver plus 15,000 stipend, and I just could not believe my eyes. That's finally a dream to study my master's, and then at that high level university has come to fruition. So it was kind of tears of joy. I literally cried, was all full of joy because I had that opportunity to study in such a great university. Again, like a first generation university student having the opportunity to come to such a top-notch university, it was so I was so full of joy, and at first I could not believe it was true, but later on I got to accept that now this is reality and I have to take this opportunity and make the best out of it.
Mhm. Absolutely, thank you for that. And finally, Richmond, I think you've kind of touched on it already, but would you have any other tips or any insights into the scholarship process that you think that future applicants might find helpful at all?
Yeah, so in terms of the application, yeah, you have to apply very early because they are very, very competitive. Like someone was asking if someone does not take up their scholarship, can it be stuck up for another person? It's very, very competitive. So you need to first of all be prompt about it and apply on time, and also take a very good introspection of your experience, whether it is academic or work experience. Sometimes you have the values already, but it's about you taking introspection to look at what you have done so far that can relate to the values that are being asked for. And I think that was very, very helpful for me. I took an introspection of my work experience in terms of my work, how I was combining my work with studies. And I think that adding that in my essay went a long way to make an impact on the outcome. So you need to be very, very candid about yourself. And when you take an introspection, you'll be able to realize what values you have acquired over the years that can relate to the scholarship. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Thank you very much for answering those questions, Richmond, and for being with us
Thank
here
you.
today. I'm sure, like, I really appreciate it, and I'm sure everyone else does as well. So thank you
Yeah.
again. I think that brings us on now to a Q&A. If we can have a look at any questions that people have in the chat. If you haven't already sent in a question, make sure that you're getting them posted in the group chat, or even if you don't want to put them in the chat, please send us an email either at the email address at the bottom or the scholarship email that's in the chat as well. So we can have a look at what's been posted already.
We
So what have we
actually
got?
do have a few questions coming in, Elise. So I've got everybody that's joined us today in the session back up on the screen. So again, as Elise said, if there's any questions, anything else that you'd like to know, anything you'd like to ask myself, Elise, Richmond, Maria, we have a whole team here ready to respond. And yeah, just also to touch on what Elise said there, Richmond, thank you so much for sharing your story. I was beaming there as well. I was so
Thank
pleased,
you.
smiling, hearing you talk about your experience, and how amazing that moment must have been for you. So thank you for sharing that with us today. Um, we have a question that's come through here. Let's see. Is it possible for MBA offer holders to get a full scholarship? We do have one full tuition fee waiver available for the MBA programme, and that is our 30% MBA club. So we've got the Glasgow MBA scholarship for women in collaboration with the 30% club. So please do check that out on the webpage. Applications are open for entry just now, and if you need any further questions, please do get in touch. You can also reach out to David and Pauline, who, if you're an offer holder, I'm sure you'll already have chatted with, and they can guide you on any further scholarship opportunities that are available for our MBA. A question we have as well. When you were writing the motivation letter, how did you decide which part of your journey to focus on as your narrative? So, Maria, it might be quite nice to hear from you on that, and we can potentially also bring Richmond in as well to speak about
Mhm.
how you decided how to really frame your application. So, Maria, if you would like to take the floor.
Yeah, I think that again, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I would probably say that what's most relatable to you and or what meant the most to you, because that's something that you're going to find quite easy to write about, and it does come across very honest and very personal when you write those statements. So I would probably say something that connects the most to you and the values of the school as well.
And thank you so much. Richmond, would you like to also add anything in there?
Yeah, thank you. So I think it's just to add up, it's basically, like I said, taking an introspection of your experience, whether it is from work experience or it's your academic work, and then trying to look at, you can have a lot of them, but like she said, it's going to be like something that really resonates well with you and can also relate well to the values that are being asked for. Mine was about academic excellence and determination. So I had to take inference from my studies and then also my working experience that could speak to the values that are being asked for. So just a candid reflection will do justice to the work.
Thank you very much for that, both Maria and Richmond there. I think Lee is having maybe some technical issues, so I'm just stepping in to help out. So let's see what other questions we have.
Yep, I can just keep bringing these questions up for you, Elise. I think you might be able to all hear me, but I can't hear you. But I can hear Elise because she's right beside me, so we can make that work on our end. So Elise, this is just coming up for you.
Okay, so thank you, Magdalene, for this question. If you had indicated that you can't afford the UK living expenses on your application, would you be automatically rejected? I think, Maria, again, this is one for you, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem. So it wouldn't mean an automatic rejection. However, if you're only in competition, for example, for a partial fee waiver, which means that you will need to support yourself during your studies here, your visa cost and everything else, then unfortunately it will mark down your application. So if the other applicants have indicated that they can afford to come and study here and they can afford the rest of their tuition fees, it will make a difference in those final decisions.
Okay, thank you for that. Any other questions? Hello from Palestine. Is there any scholarship related with the Palestine, especially Gaza? I think that's
So we have a couple. So we have the Dima Al-Hajj scholarship, which is specifically for students that are currently living in Gaza. And there's also the humanitarian scholarship, which is a full fee waiver, a kind of day-to-day stipend as well. And it also covers your visa and accommodation. So it's a kind of a higher value scholarship because we realize people coming from conflict affected areas or people who have been affected by displacement and are currently living somewhere else because they lost their home will need more support. So if you are in a situation, not necessarily even from Palestine, but if you are from another country that has been affected by a war or conflict, whether internal or external, you're welcome to apply for the humanitarian scholarship as well. And you can find more information on the web pages.
Thank you. Any other questions, Lee?
Perfect. I think that's me back in now. So again, just to apologise to the group for the ongoing. It's just classic. I think it's this headset. But I can hear you all now. So it's coming and going as it pleases. But just to say a massive thank you to everybody who has joined us today, both attendees to the webinar and our offer holders from all over the world, and especially a huge thank you to our incredible panel. We really appreciate your time, and your insights have just been so valuable, I'm sure, for everybody that's at a really exciting point in their journey, holding an offer to come and join us. So with that, a huge thank you to Maria and Richmond for joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Take care. There we go. And that brings us to the very end of our session. So huge thank you from Elise and I. Please do join us for future webinars that will be coming up. We do actually have our next webinar scheduled for February, so invites to that will be in your inbox shortly, and we'll be touching on all things employability, the industry engagement and connections that we have here in the Adam Smith Business School with our incredible network of clients. So really learning how you can access that and make most use of that effectively during your time studying with us. So you will hear about that. You'll be able able to hear from some industry professionals, develop those key skills, and how to really enhance your career prospects. So keep an eye on those inboxes, folks. Thank you for joining us. Elise, would you like to add anything in there? I just wanted to say I really hope everybody's found this useful today, and it will be posted on YouTube for you to watch back at a later date as well if you'd like to review any of the content.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
folks. Goodbye. Take care.
Take care. Bye.